Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Level Up Lounge. So I kind of wanted to make a video because this was a really big week for news and Destiny, and their company, Bungie. And let's just start off with the fact that Sony kind of purchased them. It's a very unique kind of contract that they have with each other, where Bungie, the parent company of Destiny, and they're also the creators of Halo. They will remain a independent publisher, but under the Sony Interactive Entertainment umbrella, I guess you could say. Sony has other companies that do exactly this. Santa Monica Studios, who makes the God of War franchise. You also have Guerrilla Games, and you have Sucker Punch as well. Guerrilla did Horizon Zero Dawn, and they have the Forbidden West coming out this month. I can't believe that it's this month finally. And Sucker Punch is the studio that brought us Ghost of Tsushima. So I personally think this is good news. So the kind of really how I took their explanation, which you can find right on their website. There's a whole separate article in the news section of Bungie.net. Bungie will be under the Sony umbrella, but a fully independent publisher with creative control over Destiny and their games that they make. This does not mean that Destiny 2 is going to become console exclusive to Sony PlayStation. Not happening. It will remain on every single console and device that it's currently out for. So you have Xbox, PlayStation, PC, Stadia, not going anywhere, which is great. Really, what I took away from the explanation is that Sony is investing in Bungie. They purchased Bungie for $3.6 billion. Yes, $3.6 billion. Which doesn't seem like a lot compared to Microsoft's purchase of Activision for $70 billion. But you also have to remember that Bungie is currently only making Destiny 2. They have an IP that they've been working on, codenamed Matter. That's all we know about it. We haven't seen any screenshots. There's no news about it. But that is something that's going on in the company right now. So they purchased for $3.6 billion, and I believe they're also investing another like $1.2 billion into the company to make sure that employees stay, that everyone's happy. They don't want to shake things up too much because Sony wanted Bungie because Bungie does one thing incredibly strong, and that is that they have the most successful live service game out there, and they have for several years now. Other games have come and gone. You got Division 1 and 2, you have Anthem, Outriders I wouldn't really compare because they've always said they're not a live service game, but they're still fairly new, so I won't include them per se, but Destiny is still a highly played game, and with the Witch Queen coming out, that number is only going to go up because they actually just set a record for Bungie. And that is 1 million pre-sold copies of The Witch Queen, which is pretty crazy. Now, I am very excited for Witch Queen. I am not excited for day one in the server situation. Even they're kind of prepping us for that one, saying like it's going to be a mess, but we're looking at everything ahead of time. So a little nervous for that. So if you're planning on taking that Tuesday 2/22/22 off, don't. Save your day off for the Wednesday or the Thursday following the release of the game. So this is kind of their Destiny 2 shared vision. One community, multi-platform. Destiny 2 will stay on all current platforms and expand to new platforms. What that means just yet, I don't think we really know, because that could just stay, maybe the next console generation, or like the Steam Deck, or something along those lines. I don't think it means they're going to Nintendo or anything like that. Self-published, creatively independent, Bungie maintains full creative control and publishing independence of the Destiny universe. Same game everywhere. Every player should have an amazing Destiny experience, no matter where you choose to play. So this, again, I think this is very exciting. I think Sony has made some smart decisions over the last several years with studios that they've purchased. I guess you could say I'm a little biased to this because I think some of the uh, single player story driven games that have come out for Sony over the last half a decade are some of the best. Naughty Dog, um, Horizon Zero Dawn. I'm sure Forbidden West is going to be fantastic. Ghost of Tsushima, I believe they're working on a second Ghost of Tsushima, and of course the God of War franchise, and we have Ragnarok to look forward to soon. They said they have some other purchases in the pipeline, so I'm excited to see what else they're coming up with. This is not like a knee-jerk purchase, given the recent events of the Activision purchase by Microsoft. This has been in the pipeline for several months, according to both Sony and Bungie. So, this was very well thought out. I think Bungie really kind of stood their ground and did these contract negotiations with them because they wanted the right fit for their company. Now, they're going to be taking this $3.6 billion that they got from Sony and investing it into the company to expand it even further. Plus, they are also looking into making more media, whether that be TV shows, animes, movies. We really don't know yet, but that is something that they've wanted to do for a while. And partnering with Sony is a good fit because, Sony Interactive Entertainment, you have, Sony movie franchise. I mean, they have, Spider-Man, and, several other movies, but this could be a very good fit. So I'm curious to see what their future is for that. Some people are nervous that, Sony purchasing them just so they can, solely have the rights and kind of put Destiny off to the side while they focus on the movies. And I don't think that's the case. I think Destiny 2 and Bungie, the company, will focus on continuing to make their games excellent. And Sony will, maybe work with their creative team a little bit and come up with stories that fit into the Destiny universe and turn those into shows, movies, or cartoons. So I'm very excited for that. Now, that's just some of the news that we got this week. We also got a very cool looking weapons trailer, revealing some of the new glaive style weapons, as well as some of the exotics coming in the Witch Queen. There is a little video down below, which I will show us. So here we go. Here is the video, and I will play this.
What is the relic on Mars? The power to create your own weapons.
All right, so I feel like that just in such a short little video, there is so much to talk about. First, I kind of want to go back and let's look at some of these exotics. So this is the Grand Overture, and this shoots like slug-style machine gun bullets, which I think is going to be awesome. I think it could give us a reason for machine guns again. They were nerfed pretty hard, almost like what feels like 2 years ago, and they really haven't been relevant since. So hopefully this can get some of us using it again. Next up is this gun, the Parasite, which literally shoots a baby hiveworm, which we have seen in several strike missions. You collect the hiveworm and you place it in like a wall to destroy, which I believe would make it a solar burn weapon. So as you can see here, it literally just boom. Like, we don't really see the explosion too much in detail there, but I think that's going to be a fun weapon. I'm just hoping it's not like a meme weapon, like the stasis launcher that they had come out in Beyond Light, which you used for a mission, and there was literally no reason to use it again. But it still looks fun nonetheless. And then the Osteostriga, which shoots like a toxic burst, and the more enemies that get hit by the toxic burst, does more area of effect damage. Right here, this is the Titan Glaive, so this would be specific to the Titan class, and very similar to the Bubble Shield. This will have an alternative fire mode of shooting down a protective shield. Now, if this is similar to the Titan Bubble, we don't know yet. We won't know until we get our hands on it, most likely. My guess is that it's not going to have the same effect as the Titan Bubble, where you get the Blessing of Light, I believe is the name of it, off the top of my head. I think this will just be good for, situational. Maybe one of your teammates is getting overrun a little bit by minor enemies. This will be very good to put down and protect your teammates. So after this, we have the Warlock Glaive, which has the alternative fire of a healing turret. So this will shoot a healing turret, and as you can see, the little healing rift or healing bullets will come off of it and go to your allies, giving them a bump in health. The Hunter Glaive, which I think is going to be a lot of fun to run with the Arc Strider, is going to have tracking chain lightning, and this looks pretty powerful. Like, just looking at that, it looks pretty powerful. Here we're showing off some new exotic armor. That looks really cool. So right here, this replaces your Titan barrier with a stasis wall, and this looks like it can come in handy. I am nervous what this is going to do in PvP though, because it's going to be very difficult to try and shoot some teammates that put themselves behind this wall. And if you get too close to it and they destroy the stasis, it could cause damage to you and your teammates. But I think it's an interesting idea for a Titan exotic, and I'm curious to see what happens with it. It could give us a reason to actually use the stasis Titan class, because me personally, it's not my favorite class. I just never really enjoyed it too much, but this could give us a good reason to use it. Now here you have a Warlock, and who has the exotic right here, Osmiomancy Gloves. Hopefully I said that right. An additional Cold Snap with enhanced Seeking. So I think they had nerfed the Seeking of the Cold Snap grenades, and I feel like this enhanced Seeking will probably just be the original settings that they had for the Cold Snap grenade, because it seeked you. It would go up walls. It was going to find you no matter what. So I think it's not going to be too broken, but I could see this being slightly nerfed in the future. If it's too out of control, we'll see. I think in PvE it'll be fine, but it's really going to depend on how it performs in PvP, and hopefully they can tune the two separately with it. And then here we have the Blight Ranger helmet. Reflected projectiles from the Middle Tree Arc Strider class will deal increased damage. Which, I saw some people hating on this, like, oh, another useless exotic. But it was one of the other YouTubers I watch, Ebontis, that brought up a good point, that we are going to be facing Hive Guardians now in Witch Queen. Meaning they're going to have their own supers that they're going to be launching at us. This could come in handy. Like, this could really come in handy for some endgame content as well. Because, like, we have Titans and Warlocks have, different style bubbles that they can put down, which are great for, PvE content. But this could, with that exotic and, spinning your Arc Strider, could just throw the super right back at them. Imagine throwing a Nova Bomb right back at a Hive Guardian. And what this also could mean for PvP too. Like, I use my Hunter in PvP just because of their movement style. It makes PvP a little bit more satisfying for me. But I never really used the Arc Strider class. This could get me to use the Arc Strider class. If I could throw a super back at somebody, that would be great. Looking at you, Dawnblade. So I'm very excited for that, to see what it is. Here we go, some other. So this helmet looks awesome. This is a new exotic helmet for a Titan. They didn't tell us what it does, but just off appearance alone, that looks awesome. I'm sure there'll be some cool ornaments for it in the future. The Hunter here looks like he's wearing some exotic arms, which we can't really tell yet what those are going to do, but they are different from the actual arms of this Hunter armor set. We've seen those arms in other pictures and videos. And I believe the Warlock here is wearing some gloves that are exotic as well, but it's kind of tough to tell from this little clip. But I'm very excited for the new weapons that are coming in Witch Queen, which gets us right down into the next section, weapon crafting. And this is something that we've all wanted in Destiny 2, weapon crafting. And then I am a little nervous, but I did feel pretty good after reading this. I'm really just hoping it's not too much of a grind. Like, I hope it's not like grinding an exotic catalyst just to upgrade these weapons. That's the one thing I'm nervous about. I hope it's somewhere between like a weapon bounty and a catalyst. Like, I'm sure there's like a happy medium in that place somewhere that I'm really hoping that they hit, or at least in the future update to be in that spot. I'm going to read some of this right off the screen just because it's kind of a little complicated. So let me take a sip of my drink before we get started. Okay. So, welcome to the Enclave. Savathun is building an army of Hive. These aren't just ordinary Hive, mind you. They have become the Lucent Brood. How could this happen? What will a Vanguard do as we begin to question the line between the light and dark? It's a reoccurring line in this game. As you begin to unravel the mystery in the battle of the Witch Queen's brood, you'll discover the Enclave. This will be your destination for weapon crafting. As you can see down here in the picture, this is the Enclave. We've seen a few different screenshots of it over the last few months. Crafting a legendary weapon from scratch isn't a simple matter. Finding patterns, thinking weapon blueprints, collecting materials, and building your weapon is the starting point. After crafting your tool of destruction, you'll begin to unlock its full potential through combat. So the more you use a weapon, the more you'll unlock. Begin your quest to craft. Early in the Witch Queen campaign, you'll be given an introductory quest that runs you through the ins and outs of crafting. In the first and second missions of the Witch Queen, free to all players, so everybody will be able to play those first two missions, which is great. Guardians will uncover the Deep Sight ability and be introduced to the Enclave. I think that's a smart business model too, giving everyone the first two missions free. People could find that they really enjoy it and get them into play. It also doesn't lock them into not being able to access some of these weapons, which is good too. This is where you'll begin to shape your first glaive. You can see them all holding their glaives right here in this photo. This is where you begin to shape your first glaive, a brand new weapon archetype being introduced in the Witch Queen. All of the necessary materials will be provided for your first crafted weapon, but also be given a short tutorial on how to find those materials for future crafting. A subset of weapons and archetypes will be craftable from the start, but more will be added in the future. So it's really like the Witch Queen weapons will be the ones that we can craft the most in the beginning. Nice picture of a Titan, just having crafted his glaive, it looks like. So, in order to shape your future tools of destruction, you'll need to do a little bit of research first. Patterns are your first requirement. Some of you Well, some will be required through quest completions, while others can be earned by completing various gameplay objectives. Once you've earned your desired pattern, it can be crafted at any time with the required materials. Now it's all about the mixings. So down here, you can kind of see this is the weapon archetypes. Looks like we have I'm gonna guess that's like an auto rifle or a pulse, most likely. Then you see some of the different, weapon perks right here. And what's that? Genesis, Drop Mag. Was that Wellspring? Yeah, I can't remember that one off the top of my head. But this is just kind of a screenshot of what it would look like while we're in the crafting screen. After reaching the Enclave and crafting your first glaive, randomly rolled weapons throughout the game have a chance to drop with a new ability, Deep Sight Resonance. This will be used as you begin to target specific traits to craft. As an example, if you find a Deep Sight Resonance legendary auto rifle with the Rampage perk, you can complete an objective and extract the essence of the perk, meaning pull Rampage out, and then craft a weapon with Rampage or another perk that increases damage. So it sounds like you get a weapon, you can pull the perk out and use it on crafting other weapons. Okay. I figured they would do something like that. So, as you can see here, I recently spoke about in one of my other Destiny videos that they are going to be kind of doing away, well, not doing away with, we can still masterwork our weapons, but they're giving us less incentive to masterwork the weapons. And they even go on to say that in the TWAB here. They say, if you want that plus 10 in handling or stability, you still can get it, but it might be more incentivized for your hardcore PvP players, which, okay, all right, I'm fine with that. But as you can see here, these are the crafted weapons, and they have a red border around them. So they will stand out a little bit much. By the way, whatever ghost shell this is, I think it's going to look awesome. You can see a little bit of it here. Can't wait to get that. So, pictured is Guardian holding a Deep Sight Resonance weaponry, noted by the red weapon border. So these are the Deep Sight Resonance weapons, anything with the red border around it. Here is what the weapon screen will look like once the weapon is crafted. You click into this. Right now he's on the Deep Sight Resonance. This weapon possesses a resonance detectable by your Deep Sight ability. Use this weapon in combat or to complete activities in order to attune to this resonance and extract materials useful for shaping weapons. Attunement progress, it's currently at 0. Activity completions and usage of this weapon will progress the Deep Sight Resonance objective. So, this is an SMG with headstone on it. If you don't know what headstone is a precision kill will cause them to pop up with a stasis icicle, and it is a lot of fun. I have IS Luna with rapid hit and headstone, and it's probably one of my favorite weapons to use right now. Okay, so this is the auto rifle, and here's it completed. So I'm going to be honest, I'm still not really getting a full grasp of this whole Deep Sight Resonance system. They even said, did we give you good information? Yes, but we know you'll have more questions. And I'm confident that, between the game releasing in the first few days, there's going to be a barrage of YouTubers and, Reddit forum posts all going into detail about the system. So I'm not too worried about it. All right, so like current weapons, not every weapon pattern will be compatible with every trait, but you'll have a good list of traits to mix and match as you customize a given weapon to your desired specifications. It doesn't stop there, though. Through the Enclave, you'll also be able to kick things up a notch and enhance your traits to strengthen their flavor. Leveling your weapon and enhanced traits. Once a weapon is crafted, Guardians may begin to increase its level by using it in activities and by defeating enemies. This is where the bulk of your crafting playtime will be. The more you use your weapon, the faster you'll unlock its full potential. Enhanced stats and traits can be unlocked when reaching higher levels, granting slight bonuses to your weapon capabilities. Our goal, though, or our goal through this system, is to give players a reason to invest in their weapons, far beyond what masterworking could offer in the past. Each weapon can now act as a long-tail pursuit as you look to make your freshly crafted weapon the best it can be. Don't like that they use the word long-tail pursuit. I just have flashbacks to when Transmog came into Destiny and how grindy it was. But we'll see. It can be intimidating to start making decisions on how to build your weapon, so we are also giving you the ability to reshape your crafted weapon in the Enclave if you want to mix up the components of your weapons after you finish crafting them. You can switch up the barrel, mags, or traits you choose if you feel like you got a good lockdown one path forever. So here you go. This is what it's going to look like as we enter the Conclave. Do you want to create a new weapon? You want to modify an existing one? Very happy that they did that, and I'm sure our vaults will be very happy that they did that. So as we unlock more things, we can kind of go through and tweak them into kind of like I think this will almost give us the ability to, it's going to feel like we're crafting an exotic legendary weapon practically, and I think that's kind of exciting. As a Guardian begins to embrace this new system, you'll begin to see new legends rise. Some will prefer Hake and other foundries. If you don't know what the foundries are, those are companies that make weapons in the game. Some of them have lore behind them, and there's some explanation about that a little bit further down. Others may dabble in new weapons from Redacted the next season. We're excited to see which weapons you embrace. Mementos, not going to really cover this. It's kind of like it's something that you put on your weapon, for a visual. Think Call of Duty and how you can put little emblems or little keychains hanging off the weapons. It's going to be something similar to that. I don't believe they're monetizing it yet. I think it's going to be all in-game unlocks. So we also have exotic crafting. So we have the 3 different class glaives that we can unlock, seen in the picture here, and the Osteostriga exotic SMG can also be crafted. I believe that is it so far with that, though. So tuning up, tuning down, tuning all around. So yeah, they have a lot of tuning that they're doing this with the release of Witch Queen, and they'll probably have some coming out in the following seasons as well, based off of all the new weapons that will be coming out, I'm sure, new perks and everything that will require tuning in the future. This right here is just an explanation of why they made the switch from Pinnacle to Pursuit weapons. If you played Destiny quite a bit 2 years ago, you'll remember, weapons like Recluse, Mountaintop, and how over the top powerful they were, both PvE and PvP. So they kind of did away with those weapons when they sunset them. And, they just talked about, and they made the, Adored Sniper Rifle, Salvager Salvo, Null Composure. They made them 70% of a God Roll weapon so that they weren't too OP. Okay, I get that. This is the next pursuit weapon that will be coming out, the Reckless Endangerment Shotgun. And kind of curious to see what it will have on it. So, introduces a new Steady Hands perk for a massive handling boost after a kill, plus snapshot sights. There are several other shotguns that release sought after. Alright, so they're just saying that, this is going to be accessible to everybody, and you don't have to do endgame PvP and PvE just to get a good shotgun. So that's kind of cool. Origin traits. We've been talking about the difficulty of making different weapons of the same type feel unique for years. So, your average world loot drop versus your, pinnacle activity weapon. Kind of what they're hinting at there. And in Witch Queen, we're doing something about it. Every weapon that's new or returning in the Witch Queen will have an origin trait determined by its source in the 3rd trait column, including all new legendary weapons and all returning Trials, Iron Banner, and Nightfall weapons. Origin traits will only appear on new drops of a weapon. They won't be retroactively added to old drops. Okay. These traits vary in effect, but in the guidance that they either have high uptime or medium power effects, or low uptime and high power. There are 14 origin traits in total shipping with the Witch Queen in Season 16, and we expect to ship around 3 new ones each season after Season 16. For example, 1 for Season 17, 1 for the raid, and 1 raid or dungeon, and 1 for the seasonal event until we have 1 for each event. Okay, that's cool. You know, it's going to give a refresh to some of the older weapons. Yeah, all right. I'm down to see where those origin traits come out like. Hopefully they're useful. Here's some examples. Trials of Osiris. Gain increased reload, stability, and aim assist and range when you are the last living member of your fire team or running solo. Plus 20 reload, plus 20 stability, plus 10 aim assist, plus 10 range. Okay, those are some solid numbers. Solo includes solo lost sectors and rumble, for example. All right, so I usually try and solo the lost sectors, the legendary ones, so I can get the exotics. That's certainly going to come in handy. Nightfall strikes, stunning recovery, stunning a champion, partially refills your magazine, triggers health regeneration, improves recovery for a short duration. Okay, grants 60 health instantly. All right, and 40 recovery for 3 seconds. Nice. Crucible, 1 quiet moment. Grants increased reload speed when out of combat. Plus 40 reload stat when out of combat. Haven't dealt or received damage in 4 seconds. Strikes. Vanguard's Vindication. Final blows with this weapon grant a small amount of health. Small equals 7 health. Okay. You know, they are strikes. They're not too difficult. All right. So we're just going to move on to weapon foundries. Like I mentioned earlier, Hake is one of the weapon foundries. Amalon, Weist. These are all, companies that exist in the Destiny universe that are weapons manufacturers, and they used to be around a lot more, especially in year 1 of Destiny. These weapons are all over the place in the double primary system that they had back then. They've kind of been slowly, slipped out of the world loot pool over the course of the years, but now we're going to start seeing them come back with some unique things about them. So let's read about the weapon foundries. So in Season 16, we were replacing the old world loot pool with 12 new weapons in the style of the Destiny 2 Year 1 Foundry weapon set. 3 weapons, each from the Suros, Amalon, and Hake and Weist foundries, plus 1 foundry weapon, each for Vanguard, Gambit, and Crucible. So these are just a few of them that will be out there. You might recognize some of them. Each weapon will come with a foundry origin trait themed around that foundry's personality. Suros Synergy. Reloading grants this weapon bonus handling and reduces incoming flinch for a short time. Plus 40 handling, 20% flinch resistance for 6 seconds after reloading. Cool. Hake Breach Armaments. This weapon deals increased damage against vehicles, turrets, barricades, and stasis crystals. Alright. Turrets includes stasis turrets. Plus 15% to vehicles, plus 30% to structures and turrets. Nice. Amalon Fluid Dynamics. This weapon has increased reload speed and stability for the top half of the magazine. Stability max plus 20, reload max plus 30, reduces as the magazine gets lower. Weist Stinger. Chance on damage to partially refill the weapon's magazine. Seems like Weist kind of got the short end of the stick there on that one. In addition to the Foundry origin trait, each Foundry weapon's perk pools lean into the Foundry's identity. Big damage for Hake. It's kind of Hake is always like a slower firing, assault rifle, pulse rifle. Consistency for Suros, abilities, tie-ins, and weird stuff for Amalon, and never stop firing for Weist. Okay. So let's see. Foundry weapons that drop from a source aside from the world loot pool can switch between the foundry trait and the source trait. This doesn't imply that foundry weapons will be common outside the world pool. Okay. For example, a roll on the new Gambit Hake high impact auto rifle, Herod C, might look like this: corkscrew rifling, polygonal rifling, armor piercing rounds, flared magwell, perpetual motion, focus fire, invader tracker, Gambit origin trait, Hake breach armaments, Hake origin trait, kill tracker, see below, range, masterwork. Okay. We know we haven't brought back all of your favorite foundry weapon types, but don't worry, you can expect to see weapon foundries receive new additions each season for the year following the Witch Queen, with some fun surprises thrown in later in the year. All right, maybe some new ones that we haven't seen before. That would be cool. I remember about a year ago with one of the leaks that was out there, they had talked about the foundry system, and I guess that turned out to be true. We just weren't expecting it so late in the game. So global kill trackers. Yeah, I'm not going to really go over that. Archetypes. All right, so we're starting to get some of the tuning now. So they're going to be tuning fusion rifles, mostly the high impact fusion rifles. The other ones are in a pretty good place right now. Let's see. They're going to be tuning some of the rocket launcher subfamilies. Not going to go into this too much. There's people better suited to talk about this than I am. If you don't watch either Aztecross or Fallout plays, I recommend you watch those guys. They specialize in going over things like this. That's where I get my information. So exotic weapons. And this right here makes me so excited. Increased damage versus miners in PvE by 40%. Meaning weapons like Graviton Lance, Outbreak Prime are going to be absolute monsters once again. With a 40% buff in PvE damage, they're going to be useful again. And the Arc Bow Trinity Ghoul is going to be an absolute monster too. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm very excited for that. This is mostly against miners, but even so, exotics have not felt super strong against miners for a while, which they should. Chaperone is going to be getting a PvE nerf. Duality is going to be getting a slight nerf. Taraba is going to be getting a buff, meaning that had a unique perk where the more you used it with it out, the perk was activated. If you stowed it and pulled out your other weapon, it completely turned off the perk. And now if you stow your weapon and pull it back out, it will only reduce half the perk's efficiency. So that will probably be a monster in PvP because it's a SMG. Ruinous Effigy, the weapon from Season of Arrivals, which it's a trace rifle, and you get kills with the trace rifle. It turns the enemies into orbs, and you can pick up the orb and use it as like a shield. They nerfed the shield a while ago, and they're gonna bump it up a little bit again, which is great. Lumina is getting a nice buff this season, which is good because it's just a hand cannon that didn't feel too great. You ain't doing anything to Thorn because otherwise it would become a monster. Augur's Scepter, which is new from Season of the Lost. They are going to be fixing some of the perks that weren't working properly with that. Deadman's Tail is getting a hip fire reduction from 150 RPM to 130 RPM. So you should be getting killed with it less in PvP, which is nice. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Lorenz Driver and Arbalist are monsters in PvP right now because they have very little flinch when being shot at. So they are increasing the flinch received when being fired upon. And the Forerunner sidearm that got shipped with the 30th anniversary is getting a bump in special ammo because they even said that they're fairly conservative with the launch of that weapon. So They're also going to be bumping weapons like Dire Promise, Waking Vigil, Jack, Queen, King, Spare Ration hand cannons, which is great. I got some pretty good rolls of Waking Vigil doing the Blind Well, so I'm excited for that. They're also making some changes to the Ikelos SMGs. Fellwinter's Lies getting a slight change in its performance. And they are doing some changes to perks. Adagio, Dual Loader, Danger Zone, Tap the Trigger, Head Seeker, Eager Edge, which was allowing people, this is a sword perk, and people were pretty much like anime flying across the screen because of this perk. It is quite funny to see in person, but people were using it to kind of ruin the fun of an activity. So they're going to be making a nerf to that's performance. The lunge distance while airborne by 25% will be reduced. So that's fine, I understand. It was funny to see, though, for a while. So they're going to be shelving some perks, too. Bottomless Grief and Celerity, Underdog, Shield Disoriented, and Air Assault, though this may get a redesign in a future season. Alright. In the near future, in Season 17, we'll have a set of PvP-focused weapon changes, including new ways for players to build for flinch resistance. Okay, balance tuning for primary weapons, looking at pulse rifles, lightweights in particular. Didn't really know that there was an issue with lightweight pulse rifles. I feel like they don't get used very much. Pulse rifles haven't really felt great the last few seasons, maybe even close to like about a year and a half now. Pulse rifles really haven't been overpowered at all, in my opinion. Special weapon tuning, snapshot feeling mandatory on sniper rifles and PvP, other balance changes. Okay, yeah, I know snapshot is one perk most people look for on sniper rifles. Another PvP special ammo economy change. If it's needed, they are making a change to special ammo in PvP so that on kills, you're not picking up as much special ammo. This is probably a direct result of how powerful shotguns feel in PvP right now, because people are just getting too much ammo from kills. Adjusting how zoom outliers, both low and high, affect the performance of a subset of a weapon. Scope column shouldn't be the most important thing on a weapon. Again, that's if you're into that kind of weapon. That doesn't really affect me at all. I'm not, scoping in on PvP or anything. I really even don't use snipers that much at all. We're adjusting several much requested exotics along with legendary perks. All right, I'm excited to see what changes that they're going to make to some of the perks and weapons in the future. I feel like they're trying to do good and make things as balanced as possible. Again, very excited for the 40% bump in exotics to minor enemies. I think it's going to really bring back some favorites. I know I was reading through Twitter the other day, and they were just blowing up about Graviton Lance, Trinity Ghoul, how much fun those are going to be to use again. Like they're just making some of the older weapons relevant again, and that's good to see. Year of the Tiger stuff, and this is for Witch Queen pre-launch downtime and preload. So, to prepare for the launch of the Witch Queen on February 22nd, Destiny will undergo scheduled downtime from 7 p.m. PST on February 21st to 9 a.m. on February 22nd. That's about a 14-hour downtime window, and that's they're going to be updating the game, making their server changes, everything of that nature behind the scenes, getting ready for the launch of Witch Queen. Shattered Realm, which is a Season of the Lost activity, is on a daily rotation now to help people unlock some of the various seasonal challenges. Grandmaster Nightfall catch-up node clarification this past week, and with the next week in Destiny login message incorrectly indicated that the Grandmaster Nightfall catch-up node had just become active. The catch-up node has been live and is currently available for players who completed the Conqueror seal to be able to guild their seal. Not me. Year 4 content vaulting. And yeah, so like if you were interested about what's being vaulted, There's information here. Pretty much like the whole Forsaken campaign, Tangled Shore is all going away. And weapon cycling, they'll be cycling out some of the weapons from Trials of Osiris, the Nightfall, Iron Banner, and known issues. And I got some movies of the week, artist of the week, really cool cosplay of Petrovenge, and Witch Queen PvP in a nutshell. Oh, and it's just a Titan with one of the little hive babies on his face. And on a somber note, they're paying respects to a community volunteer, Seraphim Crypto, who was a big part of the German community for Destiny, who unfortunately passed away. And it's very nice of them. They had a lot of nice things to say about Seraphim Crypto. So this was one of their longest TWABs ever. It was 6,500 words, I believe they said, which is nuts. We never get a TWAB this long unless it's like a director's cut or something like that. And we've had those in the past, but yeah, big news for Bungie this week. Big news for Bungie in several years to come. And we are in the same month that Witch Queen releases. I will be having a lot of Witch Queen content. I'm very excited for it. And I'll probably be doing some videos going over weapon crafting and playing through the campaign. So very excited for that. Thank you everyone for enjoying. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you for watching as always, and have a nice day.